Namaste, Jai Hind. And in our continuous coverage building up to the pranaprathishta of Ram Lala at Sri Ayodhya, at Ram Lala Virajman, the conversations that we've had over a period of time with a lot of the spiritual leaders points to one aspect, that we need to look inward. And will the pranaprathishta of Ram at Ram Janmabhoomi, will it also wake or help Bharat wake up in its consciousness? So let's try and take this conversation forward with someone who's doing a lot of work across the world in humanities and teaching people how to look inward. But it's very difficult to find him in Bharat itself. Mohanji of the Mohanji Foundation.
Thank you.
Namaskaram. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
First, let me ask you, how do you see this moment?
I see this moment as a revival of the tradition. It's reinventing Bharat. And this was essential. Actually, it's a deep culture of acceptance. And the PM is very clear and the whole movement is clear. There is huge clarity. And more than what we see on the surface, what is actually happening is that we are telling the world there is a possibility of uniting everything or integrating everything through just one word, acceptance. I'm not using the word tolerance because tolerance is sometimes ego play. We are not acceptance, accepting yourself, accepting everybody, and collectively integrating the whole thing to a larger perspective of coexistence and rejuvenation, or because whatever is happening, everybody is benefited. So not the 5-year-old Ram coming there. 5-year-old Ram has a particular significance because everybody loves a child. Everybody can accept a child because the child is beyond caste, creed, country, culture, color, religion. So that Ram staying in Ayodhya, and Ayodhya is a kingdom. So a kingdom being run by a youth, a young Ram, completely innocent, and Ram has been like that. Ram has been epitome of his thing was completely normal. You look at Ram's life. He never displayed himself as an avatar. He showed himself as an ordinary man, 100% rooted in righteousness. So that is another one of the things which we are telling the world with this righteousness is above everything. And I think the PM is very clear about this. Through righteousness, you can lead the world, not just this country, lead the world through righteousness, coexistence, acceptance, cooperation, where the other side is division, war, bloodshed. And we have divided the world so much already. 190 plus countries, that's all divisions in the mind. Now we are reaching a stage where we are not talking about anything, any rights or anything. We are talking about responsibility. So when Ram sits in Ayodhya, the culture of responsibility will begin in the world.
No, but there are others who would say that Bharat is trying to flex muscle. A nation that was subjugated and then largely subservient is now trying to flex muscle, and then it's then portrayed as a Hindutva fascism, and this Ram temple is nothing but a beacon of this rising majoritarianism that Bharat is going to show. How would you respond to?
I think that's just a perception. It will take time, but I think eventually it will be proved that this is the only way we can establish unity in the world. This Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam we talk about, one family, one world. It has to be demonstrated through life. And Ram did it through his life. He demonstrated how dharma can prevail on earth. And he was reflecting to life more than projecting. See, if you look at Ram's life, he was always reflecting. He reflected every situation and never projected himself into the situation. He never behaved like a king in the forest. And he never behaved like a prince anywhere. He just reflected every situation and went on, including the war.
So, but there also where it was required, they used force.
That is when to preserve dharma, you have to take care of, see, this is self-defense more or less. You have to take, but Bharat, what is happening now with Bharat is that Bharat is reinventing itself. This is a new Bharat. Changes are happening. And if you look at the history of Bharat, anybody who comes here, they will destroy the current or the then setup for supremacy's sake. Now we are coming out of that particular garb and we are now becoming Bharat. We are becoming clear in our perception and also our display of what we are.
You travel the world. Is there a change in the perception?
There is.
What is the change?
A lot more acceptance, and people are now beginning to think that there is a definite alternative rooted in ahimsa, non-violence, and by being confident in what you do, you can actually change the world. It's not overpowering your philosophy or trying to impose your philosophy on others to overpower them. That's not necessary. This is not about religion. It's about a way of life. And Sanatana Dharma is a way of life. It's basically the basic ground rules of existence, not a religion. So I do not believe this is flexing muscle of Hinduism, etc. Hinduism is itself, it doesn't exist because we have 330 million gods. We have many expressions of one consciousness, but actually above all there's only supreme consciousness, Divi Surya Sahasrasya, brightness, complete pure brightness, brighter than a million suns. That's what we have been worshipping, and many representations of that one consciousness we have worshipped over time.
So it's what we have done is its manifestation of our own devotion in whatever form that we would want to. Many would look at it, they say that we worship our trees, we worship nature, we worship various elements or various parts of nature because that's how we were taught to sustain and to work together in harmony with the environment, with the nature. But others would say that this makes you your idol worshippers. Anything and everything you'll make an idol and then you'll start worshipping. See, that's how the mockery happens. That's how the defiling of the thought process or the belief process happens. How would you respond to that? Well, saying, oh, this pranaprathishta, what are you doing? You're putting a stone there and you're doing all sorts of mantra, and how does it become divine? Yeah. So,
well, this is a very important point. Many people do not understand this. All these 330 million deities are 330 million possibilities of one consciousness, one energy, which has no form. And like fire cannot exist without a medium, just like that without a form, the consciousness cannot exist as an expression. So basically it's expression. Now in our system we have idols. Idols also have a particular structure. Structure means a size, which can maintain and preserve energy. For example, you look at all the atomic reservoirs of the world, they are in the form of Shivalinga.
Shivalinga, correct.
Yeah, that's the only form which can retain, contain and maintain energy of high nature in a particular level for a long period
time.
of
So there is a logic behind the shape of the Shivalinga, and that's why the atomic reactors also look the same.
Shivalinga, they are not particularly following Hinduism, but that's exactly
science.
Once again I said there's no Hinduism, there's only a way of living. So so when you induce energy into a particular idol in a particular way, and there are yantras which are circuits, just like our nervous system, circuits, and mantras which are frequencies. So you induce a frequency, you induce a nervous system or a circuit, and they become active and alive.
So that's why we see yantras which are there. Most of the temples around the sanctum sanctorum, there is a yantra that actually infuses. So that's the arterial system.
That's a circuit, which channelizes the energy, just like our energy streams of the body, like nervous system, etc. So they all have a value, and between 8 seconds to 40 seconds, there is a transmission happening from the induced energy to the receiver. So it's a circular motion of connection. That's why there are idols. And if it is good to connect to consciousness without anything, if you can.
Correct.
But because we are oriented with senses, it's not easy. If a person can talk to a person easily, then connect to somebody who is not existing. So that is why we have various idols, and why there are many idols, because of many types of people. Lot of different frequencies we have on earth. And that is the variety that we have. That's the beauty of creation. Great variety. And for them to connect, they need to have some idol or some form or some frequency which is suiting them. Like for example, we meet a lot of people, but only few people we connect personally.
Correct.
That's because the frequency connects.
There's a frequency
matches.
Yeah.
So if somebody says, I don't like this frequency, this is respectable. It has to be respected. So all these things have great value and great, it's well defined.
So But I'll come to the acceptance bit, and then, but before that, on Pran Pratishtha, since you are operating in more than 8 countries officially and many others, and you have plenty of
about 18 countries.
18 countries and a lot of ashrams you have. And I'm sure in your ashrams there will be vigrahas, and you have done Pran Pratishtha.
Yes.
So have you done it only after the whole ashram has been built, the temple has been built? Can you do Pran Pratishtha when the construction is still going on?
Well, wherever we have installed, that places were ready for Pran Pratishtha. But the ashram is not built fully. It's still going on. So see, it's about the relevance, and when you have to bring something at a particular point of time, bring it, because that's a time suitable for it. So the energy will stay. If it is done properly, energy will stay. Then it's a question of maintaining it. So while the things are happening, you can maintain. Our ashrams are still getting built.
To assert ourselves as a nation, is it right or wrong? Because a lot of nations are not happy when Bharat tries to assert itself. So when Bharat says, no, we will continue to buy oil from Russia, even though we are taking a position against war. We will back Israel in its right to defend itself, while we will say that we will send humanitarian aid to Hamas. A lot of nations don't like this kind of a position. They say either you are with me or you are not with me. How can you say that I'll take my position? How do you look at that?
Well, it all evolves into this state. It's not one day. So we have moved towards a state where we can talk or we can take stands. Earlier, probably we never was able to do it because a hangover of a colonialistic era, plus the supremacy of certain principles which suppressed our naturality. When we become natural, we are very powerful. Even individually. When we are like children, they are very natural. They don't have any kind of inclinations or tendencies of, or they are not imbibing anything from outside. We have that right. So when we become more and more independent, natural, automatically it will reflect in the whole world because people will see. And our naturality speaks. It will talk. Maybe people like a prescribed, formatted response levels, which will change. Because we are not trying to overpower anybody, we are not trying to express our supremacy, but we are being ourselves. And when we safeguard our materials, our things, what's good for Bharat is being done. What I have seen or what I have experienced is that right now, the whole ministry and the machinery is looking at only at the welfare of Bharat and Bharatiyas of the world. So this is okay. We have to protect our people, our family, our culture, tradition, the parampara, everything, all the things we are protecting. And that, some people may say that's not how it should be, because many people could have hangover of the past, where we have never protected anything and we became doormats. We were walked over. We have seen all that.
Correct.
So that is changing. We are not being doormats anymore. We are not being walked over. And individually, you can see Bharatiyas Bharatiyas influencing the world. Individually, not even collectively. I'm saying individually, we can see various masters. Like, for example, most of the heads of the IT industry are from Bharat. So these are not ordinary things, because you have worked hard to reach there.
Final round of conversation. So let's come to this aspect of our conscience has to be in place. So for us, we also need to have a certain level of consciousness within us. And that's where yoga comes into place. So yoga is yoking ourselves with the divine inside us. And if I were to say from a very layman's perspective, divinity within us with the divinity in the cosmos, how do I yoga? How do we do it? Are we as Bharatiya doing it? We are trying to teach the world. Are we teaching ourselves?
Well, I think we are changing. As I said, Bharat is getting redefined, and in a very solid way. So this Ayodhya temple is not an ordinary thing. It is going to transform the perspective of or perception of the people. Not that everybody will accept it. There will be rejections, resistance, etc. And also it will be colored as religion. All those things are there. But time will prove that it is beyond religion. It is a sanskar, it's a tradition, it's a culture which is getting revived. It's a revival of a culture and a reinvention of Bharat. So in our life, or in the world, let's say in the world of Bharatiyas or people from Bharat, this will all reflect eventually. I don't expect that to happen overnight, but people are watching, people are listening, seeing, hey, what's happening? Why are they doing it? Maybe you will not get all the answers now. But I believe that PM Modi, I've seen him, PM Modi ji has complete picture, clear picture. He's got clarity. No activity of his I have seen. I'm not claiming that I have seen every activity, but whatever I have seen, there is a clear determination, clear a decision, a determination, and also completely in tune with a larger perspective. Not like, okay, let me do this just to firefight, then we'll do something else. No decisions are like that. Everything is moving towards something larger, where Bharat is getting more and more stabilized. Please remember, Bharat was present in Indonesia, Cambodia, in many places before.
Yes.
Even in Australia, so many places our culture was moving. It's all shrunk to one country now. Every other place has become something else. That is okay, because that is how time changes things.
Time changes things.
But now it's a reinvention of ourselves, and it will become like a reflection to the whole world. It will come as a reflection to the whole world.
Whole world.
Yeah. So what are we doing? Like our practice, as you ask, these practices will automatically come. And what are practices for? For discipline, for creating a discipline, for aligning ourselves. So if you're aligned, you are powerful. If you're not aligned, even physically, when you're sick, you are weak.
Right.
Like that, when we are aligned in ourselves with our own frequency, we are super powerful. Nobody can defeat us. So we are reaching that stage through cultural integration, and also what we stand for, and how intensely. You can see intensity in action now.
Right.
And it's not imitation. We're not trying to prove something to somebody. That is where the strength comes. If you're trying to imitate another country, we are already weak. Imitation makes us weak. Here we are looking within, exploring our lost culture, or the culture which was trampled over by time, and then we are bringing back our originality.
Is there acceptance to this culture?
Absolutely.
In your vast experience abroad, outside our soil, is there acceptance to this culture, this way of life?
I have following in every country.
Yeah.
Even Saudi Arabia and every place. And I don't talk about religion. I have no interest in talking about religion. People follow their own religion as they like. Maybe inherited, or maybe they moved into certain things, which is none of my business. But people are recognizing that they are important. Because if you do not consider yourself as the most integral part of your life, or your presence on earth, nothing will work. So this is happening as we talk.
It is happening as we talk.
Yeah, because our growth, I never expected to grow but all these things are happening, not because I marketed it. I don't market. I don't believe in marketing. People who have eyes to see will see. Those who do not see is okay. It's not their time yet.
Yeah.
But
we have to work harder. That's the perspective.
We have to connect to ourselves, and not work. I mean, spend more time connecting, and then you will know that everything is suited for that. I'm looking at a brighter, bigger, stronger Bharat, which I think is happening right now.
I think, Mohanji, you need to spend some more time in Bharat and also in Kerala, your own home state or native state.
I love to.
So be you, but more importantly, learn from Ram and then rise along with this rise in consciousness as Bharat is evolving, it's changing. Mohanji, such a pleasure to speak with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me here.
Thank you.
It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you.